Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and as promised, some spoilers are out for Throne of Eldraine. And unfortunately, they're just kind of out there with no context, and they just put a reminder saying, oh, tune into Twitch tomorrow on 9/4. So we actually have no idea how cards like, well, this work, but I think we could kind of throw some logic at it. So Lovestruck Beast, now remember this is the fancy frame. I already forgot where this is going to occur. I think it's in those stupid other boosters that cost more. It's all just an overcomplicated mess, but so is Pokemon and so is Yu-Gi-Oh! So, rainbow rares, and then full art rares, and then foils, and then full art foils, and then alternates, and then promos, and then secret rares. It's kind of cool if everybody fully understands it, and I think people don't. But maybe it'll just take a set or two, and then people will be like, oh, it's this frame, this alternate, you get it here, you get it there, whatever. So anyway, you can see that this is $299 out of blank. And if you look at another card in the set, it still says 197 out of 269. So this is above the number, so they decided, screw it, let's just not put the out of on the end. Which, what are you trying to hide, Wizards? What if I want to look at this card and know how many cards are in the set? But then again, if you look at a normal card and say there's 269 in the set, there's not. So I guess they do cancel out. So anyway, small detail about the cards there, but this is a Lovestruck Beast. It's a 3-cost creature, Beast Noble. Everybody's all excited about the Noble subtype all of a sudden. They think they're going to retroactively errata a bunch of old cards, which is the worst thing they could ever do. Like the one with dinosaurs, I get the logic, but I want what's printed on the card to be what the card is. Okay, paper cards do not come with Windows Update installed, okay? When you print them, that's what they are. You shouldn't need to look up each individual card on a smartphone just to play a damn card game. That's really annoying. So I actually hope they don't take Noble and expand it. But anyway, this is a creature, but then it says Heart's Desire, green, 1 green, and then Sorcery for the speed, and then it's an adventure. So is this tribal sorcery, or is it just sorcery speed and it's not a sorcery, but it's adventure? I'm not 100% sure. I would lean towards sorcery indicates the speed, even though you should logically put it at the end of the text. And adventure is it's like saga. It's like the type of card that this is, or it's the mechanic of having this ability. So it says create a 1/1 white human creature token, and then it says Lovestruck Beast can't attack unless you control a 1/1 creature. So I think you have an activated ability that's sorcery speed of the creature, and that's create a 1/1 white human creature token. But if you activate what's on the left side, then you get the consequence of what's on the right side. And that does follow if you know the Beauty and the Beast story. So Lovestruck Beast can't attack unless he has his 1/1 human next to him or whatever. Otherwise, if she's not on the battlefield, he'd be too busy looking for her. So, however, if you look at the power and toughness, I'm going to take a wild guess that that thing on the right actually is permanent. I don't think that you wait until you activate that ability to unlock the right side requirement or whatever parameters are there. Because a 5/5 for 3 non-legendary is batshit crazy. Steel Leaf Champion was a mistake. That card was an absolute blatant mistake. Would they be stupid enough to basically do it again? At least this one could be chump blocked, so it wouldn't be unheard of, but this would be very, very, very powerful if it was a 5/5 for 3. So I think that regardless, he cannot attack unless you control a 1/1 creature. And then he has an ability, whether you can use it multiple times or not, I don't know, that says, go on an adventure, create a 1/1 white human creature token. Now, they could just say, the mechanic of adventure is that you can only do it once ever, but the more normal way to track it would be to leave a charge counter or an adventure counter or something like that, where it says, do this and then place an adventure completed counter or whatever on the creature, and then if it has one of those, you can't activate it again, and then make a way to remove it so that you can do it again later, just to make it more dynamic. The fact that it doesn't say that makes me think that, yeah, you actually can probably do that, but why would the beast create more than one white human creature token? He's only in love with one. Then again, these were supposed to be weird twists on these stories, so I don't know. I wish I knew how the card worked, but we don't. I'd have to see the normal frame of it, which probably has the reminder text. Because I think they said the reminder text on how mechanics like adventure work are purposely missing from these more decorative cards, because it just makes it more stylized. So they did this on purpose just to get people talking. So the next one is Flaxen Intruder. And this is just too hilarious. She's a 1-cost creature human berserker uncommon, and 1/2. Goldilocks is a berserker. Fantastic. So it says welcome home, and then it says sorcery-adventure. So her adventure mechanic is called welcome home. I assume it's just an activated ability. I don't know why they needed to put sorcery dash unless the unframed version of the card, the normal version, says something like blah, 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 this can only be done at sorcery speed. So this may be less functional and more stylized. I mean, maybe it's an alternate casting cost. Maybe it's kind of like an overload. I don't know. Maybe you pay this at the same time. Maybe you can only pay it later. I mean, we don't know because the reminder text is missing by choice, by design on this frame. So it's a 7-cost, I don't know, ability, whatever it is. Create 3 2/2 green bear creature tokens. Because, I mean, what did you think she was going to do? And then, whenever Flaxen Intruder deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Okay, first of all, that's a her. That's a female. Come on, wizards. Just stop being stupid. But, yeah, I do like that. I mean, I think that she has that no matter what. A 1/2 for 1... even without that left side that has that ability is pretty good in green. I mean, there's stuff that enters the battlefield and blows up, typical just naturalized effect basically. But it usually costs like 4+ mana. There's also ones where you sacrifice them and get a naturalized effect. Those can be cheaper, but then you lose the creature. So this one's on hit, so it's not quite as good as those. I mean, a 1/2 isn't necessarily going to get through, but the other thing I'd like to point out is that adventure might be a death trigger. I mean, that would be kind of weird because you can't go on an adventure if you're dead unless they died on the adventure. But it could be, when this creature dies or when this leaves play or whatever, at that time you can pay the adventure cost to get that effect. I kind of doubt it though because that would make the Lovestruck Beast work really unusually. So, like I said, nobody really knows how these work, so just take them for what they are. So the third spoiler that we have is Oko, Thief of Crowns, which the name and the art were actually leaked, I think, 2 days ago? Yeah, at least. So he's another 3-cost 4 loyalty planeswalker. That is usually a sign that he's not very strong, but very dangerous, very, very likely to be played. He's not even the same tier as a 6-cost one, but, you can get him out on turn 3, you know what I mean? So his +2 is create a food token. So, yep. No idea what that is. It's probably just another mana geode Ethereum cell, treasure. I mean, come on. But I don't know. It might be like energy. You never know. And then his +1, that's right, he has a +2 and a +1. Target artifact or creature loses all abilities and becomes a green elk creature with base power and toughness 3/3. And Oko is supposed to be some kind of trickster who uses lots of powerful magic. So that makes sense. Turning something into an elk is pretty funny. It is permanent too, by the way. All I'm going to say about this is there's at least one card in Standard right now that does this, and nobody plays it, because giving somebody 3/3 usually backfires. They'll usually just kill you with it. A 3/3 is reasonably big. Then his -5, which you'll get to really quickly, is exchange control of target artifact or creature you control and target creature an opponent controls with power 3 or less. So you can't actually steal anything good, but you could take a stupid artifact and swap it with a creature. That is allowed. So, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, really hard to say if this would be any good without knowing what a food token is and without knowing anything about him. But the second you drop him in, you can +2 him and get him to 6, and then you're basically ulting him next turn. So that is pretty dangerous. So Oko is actually Japanese for something, probably. And you can tell by looking at his artwork and kind of reading between the lines on those abilities that he's a Fey shapeshifter who is very charismatic, but he's also like kind of selfish, self-centered, doesn't really get along with people, not big into socializing. But he does care about what people think about him. He's very clever, kind of mysterious, but also very vain. That's why he's dressed like Elton John would tell him to take it down a notch. So if you look at that first ability that just generates food, you can really just kind of feel that his spark ignited when his captors arrested him and tried to suppress his shape-shifting abilities, which is natural to the Fey beings, but his were like exceptional. And in response to all the magic poking and prodding, his spark ignited, then he's just like, I'm out. But then at some point he went back to the plane of Eldraine to just screw with people. By the way, let's run down the bullet list here. He looks a little bit Japanese and Korean, if you ask me, but his name sounds extremely Japanese or Korean. I'm going to say Japanese because it fits more. And then they made him antisocial, really, really, really care about his image and appearance, and very mysterious. I see somebody at Wizards just went to Google and typed in Japanese stereotypes. So he was born with incredibly powerful shapeshifting abilities, but the Feywild or Fey culture, basically the elf douches who live in the woods, they're the ones who make up like the I don't know, the court of Eldraine, or what do you call it? The people, the city, I don't know. I'll just call them the Eldrainies. But their acceptable norm in culture is, well, all this shape-shifting and fey magic crap, that's not very civilized. We gotta act like civilized folks. So they tell people don't shapeshift, don't use your magic, whatever. And they try to like suppress it with other magic or with, I don't know, alchemy or something like that. So when he was like, okay, I've got insanely powerful shape-shifting abilities and other magic, they're like, we got to do something about this guy. So, yeah, they tried all kinds of procedures intended to suppress his powers, but all they did was light up his spark. So now he's a rebel who doesn't trust anybody in authority or anybody in the court of Eldraine, which I guess would be the management. That would be like the castle people. I guess I was referring to the peasants, the rabble before. So he just kind of goes around doing whatever he wants because now he can just planeswalk away. So he's not big on consequences, but he, like I said, really likes pranking people. So he has, quote, Rune Day Wedding Day, likes to steal the spotlight at someone's lifetime moment of triumph, and he fooled a mother into believing that her child had returned from a conflict. Oh, dick move. That's right up there with the Chappelle Show Haters Ball, where the guy called in a bomb threat to the Special Olympics. I mean, like, oh, look, I'm your son and I've returned from war. Oh, how great. Just kidding. He's still on the front line. Screw you. What a dick. So I guess he doesn't like people who take themselves too seriously, and he doesn't like people who like abuse their power or try to suppress other people's magic. So he just screws with them. But unfortunately, this lifestyle of wandering around doing whatever he wants makes him feel alone. Aw, well maybe if you stopped and made friends with someone, instead of just pranking them and using magic and teleporting around with planeswalking abilities, you would really get to know each other and they would finally realize what an asshole you are. So I think they've actually done it. They've come up with the least interesting, weird, vague, gray area, like, motivations and just the most unlikable planeswalker character we've seen in a while. So if they make him the antagonist, it would be interesting instead of just, oh, Mr. Evil, I want to take over the world, I want to take over the Throne of Eldraine. But also he's unlikable, so if he's going to be an anti-hero, I already hate him, so I don't know how much mileage you're going to get out of that wizard, so I hope he's more of a minor character, but it sounded like he's practically the main character of the book, so yeah, there goes the twins. Which it looks like they are like some higher-ups or knights or something in the court of Eldraine, and then they'll probably be tasked with hunting him down, and then they'll probably end up being friends or some dumb thing. I don't know. They could all just be like, let's settle this on I forgot the plane that Battle Bond takes place. Battle plane? Yeah, that's probably it. And on the last page of the book, they're just like, let's settle this on Battle Plane, to be continued. Okay, you're all gonna look it up now. It's Kylem. Okay, Kylem was the name of the plane. There, you happy now? So we've got an antisocial prankster who really just does vicious pranks because he thinks it's funny and he's a dick and he's unlikable. So what a great character to spotlight. I really hope that these sparse details that we're getting, which if you haven't figured out by now, I'm reading this from a different source. I'm not actually guessing this by looking at the damn card. But I hope that these sparse details are elaborated upon a little bit and he's not as bad as we think. But if he's a minor or secondary character, that actually would work in the book because he is unpredictable. He's interesting. His motivations are very non-standard, non-cliche. Like, that's interesting. I don't want to read a whole book about him, though. And really, I just don't want to pay $3.99 for a book in the first place. So, yeah, that's all we got for spoilers and information for now. I'm sure a lot more will be revealed tomorrow, and I mean a ton. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And most importantly, this video has been sponsored by me. That's right, I never promote my own Patreon. Sometimes people go like 100 videos without knowing I have one because I never mention it. But I do, and I also have an accompanying Discord. Also, my Patreon tiers are crazy. The rewards are insane. And once in a while, usually around Christmas, I usually send out a big batch of signed cards and some other, expensive stuff and cool goodies. It's been known to happen, so just saying. So anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know how much you hate Oko, and I will see you guys next video.